Hi, I'm Melanie Barr. Welcome to the She Built It Experience with Melanie. You're here because you want to experience the life and business that you crave. Join me as I talk to women who have successfully built it, a career and business that they love. We dive into the topic of how they built it and talk about everything from having the courage to make career leaps to the details of how to lead effectively, create successful teams, implement strategies for growth, and infuse tech innovation. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. So let's dive in. Madeleine Perez was born and raised in New York City. Prior to making her career leap into residential real estate at Compass in Los Angeles, she was an award-winning producer for ABC News covering politics, business, and real estate, and later became a freelance editor for Los Angeles Magazine. As a journalist, Madeleine learned valuable skills that she applies to her real estate career today, gaining people's trust and respect, excelling in high-pressure situations, and reacting with speed, composure, and precision. Thank you so much for joining us today, Madeleine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about who you are and about your early career experiences leading to becoming the founder of Madeleine Perez Properties.
Well, it's been kind of a long road. I'm originally a lifelong New Yorker. Went to college at Wesleyan and then came back to New York City and started a career at Random House in book publishing and grew tired of that and decided to switch careers and I attended Columbia School of Journalism. And as I was leaving there, I was offered a really amazing opportunity to become a producer for ABC News, and I covered national politics. And I was there for a long time, and it was a great, amazing experience. And then at some point, my family and I decided to relocate to Los Angeles. I felt like it was the right time to make a move. In doing so, I decided I was going to make an overhaul and choose a career path that served me better. Journalism is amazing, but it can be pretty brutal. And so I wanted something that enabled me to live my life the way I wanted to on my terms. And real estate for me was that option. I had always thought about doing real estate in New York, but it's a very different market. And Los Angeles is more welcoming. I decided to get my real estate license about 6 years ago, and it's been growing ever since. So I'm now a residential realtor at Compass, and I serve all of Los Angeles. And it's really been an amazing journey, and I really love it.
Congratulations on building your business. That's wonderful. And you had an incredible career leading up to making your leap into real estate. What gave you the courage to say, I'm going to make this change? I've had and built this incredible career in journalism, but it's now time for me to make a shift and leap to do something different.
I've always been the kind of person who is resilient, but also recognizes when it's time to reinvent yourself. And with the relocation and starting a family as well, I felt like it was time to reinvent myself while doing something that had always kind of been on the back burner, something I had been interested in, but was hesitant to do. Because going out on your own and basically working for yourself, because, essentially I am an independent contractor, is very risky. But I had the confidence to do it, and I had the skill set and the determination. And obviously I had worked in very, very intense, high deadline, high stress environments. So I knew I could handle it. I did my research too. I spoke to a lot of other realtors, did a lot of my own interviewing, kind of pulled my journalism skills in a bit to figure out if it would really be the right fit for me. And it was. But, I really took my time with it.
I'm really glad you said reinvent yourself, because so often we get on a path and then we don't give ourselves permission to make a change. And our lives change as we go through them. Maybe we have a family, maybe we make a move across the country, or we just wake up and decide what I'm doing right now isn't really fulfilling me. I think I'm ready to make that leap to do something else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm lucky in that I usually can sense when that moment is happening in my life. And it's happened multiple times. Like I said, I left publishing, went to grad school, relocated. I think it's really imperative as women that we recognize as we're growing and changing that our careers sometimes need to change with us. That for me was a really important element of my decision.
And I love that you said you noticed that you were ready. It's trusting yourself.
Yeah, you have to have a good support system. You have to have people around you who are helpful and will be honest, but also will support you in that change, because it is a big deal. But you also have to trust your instincts and your gut. And my gut was telling me that, journalism was no longer realistic for me for a lot of reasons. I needed to do something I was really more enthusiastic about. And I also loved the idea of being self-employed for the first time really in my life. I had always been in the corporate world and felt like I didn't need to be managed. I had enough drive and motivation to work for myself. And so I think that really was the tipping point for me to say, yeah, of course I can do this. I probably always could have.
What is one of the most important things that you think building a successful business has taught you? And how does that help you in running your business today?
There's been a lot of lessons along the way. But one of the things it's taught me is to trust your instincts, to be sure to surround yourself with good mentors and good people who are going to guide you. Because when you're starting in something new, you need that. And that has really contributed a lot to my success, I think, because there's always people I can bounce ideas off of. And I think it's to not really go it alone, even if you are working for yourself, and to find resources and people who have already done what you've done and kind of study their path and study their wins and losses and kind of use that information to inform how you operate.
Thank you for bringing up community, because that's one of the reasons why I started and launched She Built It, because I realized so many of us need the same resources. And it's so much better to take a trusted resource to say, hey, I've worked with this person or company. I had a great experience. Or one of the most fun things for me is seeing the women in the She Built It community doing business with each other.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. That element of collaboration, and especially for women, is so essential. I'm in an industry that you could argue is male dominated. Having that sense of community with other female realtors and other female clients is really, really important to me, to be able to bounce ideas off of, and also just kind of build my business and build theirs at the same time and support each other in both directions.
What is one of the most memorable experiences that you've had while building your business today?
I've had a few. One specific deal that always stands out in my mind that it happened right when COVID hit, and we were really uncertain about what was going to happen with the market here in Los Angeles, although the market here has done very well. But at the time we didn't know. And I had clients who ran into a house and were desperate for it and fell in love with it. And they accepted an offer within an hour of going on the market, and we didn't get it. And it was a really big learning experience for me, because what happened was the listing agent was getting screamed at by a million other agents for doing that. And I didn't. I was trying to help her, actually. And I was very nice to her because she was in a tough situation. I said, look, my clients left this house. If I can get you a backup offer, will you accept it? And she said, you know what? You're the only person who's been kind to me today. Absolutely. I went home. I submitted that backup offer. Long story short, the original buyer fell through and my clients got that house. And to me, that was such a lesson in you get what you give. And you never know when you're going to cross paths with people again, and always be kind in your interactions, even if it's not your natural instinct or you're frustrated or whatever. And so that was a really big moment in my career. And it was amazing for my clients too, because they just got their dream house, and it was just so wonderful to hand them the keys. And that's really one of the joys of my business. The other thing is I learned this probably within the first year, how important branding is. There are so many real estate agents in Los Angeles, and you have to find a way to stand out. My marketing background and my journalism background definitely helped me, but also reaching out to my community of contacts and them helping me to kind of brand myself. Who am I? What's my style? What's my logo? What's my vision? That was a huge moment in my career when I realized how important that is to set you apart from this huge, huge crowd of agents that people could choose. Why choose me? It made me realize how important that was. And I think that has really contributed to my success. Look, I haven't been doing this that long. 6 years in this business is considered still relatively new. And yet I've had a ton of success. And I really do believe the branding and the messaging was one of the most important things I did.
You are so right, because you can be an incredible in real estate. And if no one knows you exist, you can't help people. So you're so right. It's that marketing and branding and getting your story out there, because clients want to know who you are. And the story about finding the home for your clients and being kind, I see why that's a memorable experience, because COVID was so stressful for everyone. And you had no idea what she was going through. And that kindness seemed to really pay off. And then to help someone, again, during the stressful time to find their dream home.
Yeah, it was just one of those great moments where real estate can be extremely stressful and competitive. But when you have those moments, it reminds you of why you're doing this in the first place. And I think the other piece is also just being true to yourself, being honest, having integrity. There was a point in time when I felt in the beginning I had to temper my New York nature of talking quickly and being very direct and honest because I didn't want to spook LA clients. And I realized that that was a mistake. And now I am who I am. And I think that's actually brought me so much more business because I've earned so much respect for being honest and saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't buy this house, or maybe this is the right house for you. And that was another hard lesson to learn, is like, you don't have to pretend to be anything you're not. And in fact, by being true to you, you're going to draw in more people than you would the other way.
Because authenticity, clients can see through that. If you're not being your true self. And when you're trying to buy a house, you really want someone that's on your side and tenacious. So I see how that strength can be to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's essential in this business to be tenacious, and the authenticity doesn't always happen here in any market. So, having that under my belt and that reputation really does set me apart.
How has your business shifted over the last year, and what obstacles have you been able to overcome?
To be honest, my business has never been this strong. I've always done really well, but this year has been really phenomenal. We've been lucky in that, the business has maintained here. It's still a very active market. But in terms of shifting, I mean, the day to day is tricky. We have all kinds of obvious COVID regulations we must obey, and extra forms and extra rules, and they're constantly changing them. So it's been a lesson in being able to constantly adjust in a way that we didn't have to prior. And so being willing to learn new systems and new documents and new methods on the fly has been a huge advantage for me. That's how my business has changed. But I think my personality and my willingness to learn has really, again, really helped me a lot this year.
And you can see that through your career path. And with all that shifting and changing, what is your strategy for management, for staying on task to accomplish what you set out to do and motivating those around you?
I do something called time blocking, which is really important, which is basically like I lay out my month. Now, obviously, real estate is not something you can always predict, but I have a general calendar for every month where I time block when I'm going to work on my marketing, when I'm going to work on my email campaigns, when I'm going to work on that sort of stuff that I can predict. I've committed myself to that time window to do that project, and I'm not going to change. So I don't let things slip. I'm also very good about being constant contact with past clients. I have a whole CRM system set up through my agency, and they remind us to follow up. So I'm very good about that sort of stuff as well.
That's great, because you never know when a client's going to give you a referral.
You don't. And it happens so often. And sometimes it's just a touch base. It's like, hey, how are you doing? You guys doing all right in COVID? Do you need anything? And then suddenly it'll come up like, oh, by the way, my cousin's looking to buy a house. And you're like, oh, okay. Had I not reached out, I'm in genuine concern to my clients, I really make a point of staying on top of that on purpose. And in terms of motivating other people, it's just about management and being respectful. And everybody works differently. I have people on my team, and it's important to understand personalities and how people work best and learn best, and to be patient, because sometimes it takes some time to figure that out. A lot of people are visual learners versus auditory learners and so on. And so learning people's strengths and learning how they learn best has helped keep the people that I work with motivated, I think, because they feel seen.
Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. What is one tip that you can leave with us today about how you find and live your joy?
It's a day-to-day thing. For me, it's something I have to remind myself sometimes. My son is my why. I do all of this for him. I also do it for myself. And the joy is really in the clients. It's helping them sell their family house that they raise their kids in, and the emotion that's involved in that, and getting them through it. And then sometimes it's getting a buyer a house that has 37 offers and they win. And it's those wins and those moments where you're helping someone make the biggest purchase of their life and seeing just how happy they are. And then months later, you go to their house for a barbecue or a dinner, and it's like, wow, I really influenced this person's life forever. That's where the joy of this business comes for me. It is really, really rewarding at the end game to see how much you've helped someone's life.
Madeleine, your kindness and your tenacity and your care for your clients really shines through. Congratulations on the business that you have built. Tell our listeners how and where they can find you.
You can find me on my website, maddiepproperties.com. I have a strong Instagram presence at the same handle. Reach out to me via email, text, or call. I am extremely accessible and I respond very quickly. I love talking to people, even if it's just questions. So I'm always happy to talk.
If you are new to She Built It, we'd love for you to join us. We offer community memberships, masterminds, innovative virtual events, and meaningful connections to entrepreneurs and corporate leaders. Please also check out our She Built It shop, curated products from women-owned businesses who put their heart and soul into their beautiful and innovative products. We offer She Built It business consulting and the She Built It blog. Thank you to everyone around the world who joined today. Thank you to my editor, Rich Streffolino. Please download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, together, let's let nothing stop us from experiencing the life that we crave.